order to make those frames, what you're gonna need is a picture frame. And you can use one that you already have, or you can pick one up at Dollar Tree. I got this one at IKEA, it's unfinished. Just any picture frame will do. I'm gonna do a smaller version of the other two that you saw. You're gonna need some hot glue. You're gonna need some Mod Podge. This Mod Podge has a pearlescent finish because I couldn't find my other regular Mod Podge, so I'm just gonna have to go with it. You're gonna need some white paint. I got this paint at Walmart, it was only 50 cents. You're gonna need your floral, and these are just roses. I plucked them out of a pre-existing floral arrangement that I had that I'm no longer using. And you're gonna need some scissors, and you're gonna need some of this burlap roll. And I got this at Hobby Lobby, I believe, but you can get this at Walmart as well. You don't have to use this. The great thing about this project is you can use anything you want on the backs of these frames. For instance, on the smaller one you saw in the picture, I used a moss sheet. And basically all that is this sheet of moss. And I got this at Hobby Lobby a while ago. If you don't want to spend that much money on that, you can use the Dollar Tree deer moss. You just want to clip it small and do some glue. But I'll show you how to do that. But you can do just about anything. You can also do paper if you want to. If you have scrap of paper laying around, you can use that. Just anything you want that matches your decor and will look nice with your floral arrangement. Now in this one, I added a little butterfly that I got at Dollar Tree. It's on a wire that came with it. I just put a little hot glue on and stuck in it. But we'll get to all of that in a minute. But for now, let's get started on the basics. So the first thing you want to do is take your frame, you want to open it up, you want to take the back out, and of course you want to take the glass or a little plastic piece out. You just want to set those aside. We're not going to use those, you don't need them, so just set it to the side. So what you want is the back of the frame. So you're going to take this, you're going to lay it down on your foam core, and you're just going to trace around that because you want to get the size that's going to fit into your frame, and usually these backs are perfect. Trace that out, cut it out, and I've cut one here. Once you cut that out, don't worry about the color of it because we're going to paint, remember? So as long as it's not anything too dark, we are going to paint that. Now you don't have to, but we will. So what you want to do once you get this cut out is you want to take your burlap, lay it out, and take your piece that you cut, lay it on your burlap, and then you just want to cut along the sides. You can have some overhang if you want because you can glue it on the back. It's totally up to you. You don't have to. In my frame, it has this little ridge on the inside, so it's going to cover the sides, so I just cut it perfectly to size, and I'll show you that. Here's one I've already done. As you can see, it's cut perfect to the size, and I've got some overhang. So once you get your burlap done, you're going to take your Mod Podge. You can mix it with a little water if you want, or you can just dampen your brush. All I did with mine was I dampened my brush. That's what I have, this little, it's just water in there. I make sure my brush is damp. I take my Mod Podge and I just brush it on, and you let it dry. I find if you sit it in the sun, it dries quicker. So once it's dry, it's all dry, you can see. Like I said, mine's pearlescent. It left a pearlescent sheen on here, which is perfect because I'm gonna paint it white anyways. So what you wanna do, you can either, like I said, you can fold over your overhang and glue it down, or I'm gonna cut mine off. There we go. So I cut mine off. Now, you want a bowl and your paint in your bowl. You don't need a whole lot for this. I'm just gonna tell you, you really don't need a lot of paint. Then you wanna take your brush, which is dampened. I soak it and then use my fingers to get some of the water off. And get your paint. You can put the paint directly on if you want. I did that with my other one, and it kind of made it look like Tuscany feel on it. I don't know, it was thick in some areas, which is fine if that's what you want. Or you can just do a thin layer. So all I'm doing you can see here, I'm just painting this on. And you can do it haphazardly if you want. If you don't want full coverage, you don't have to do full coverage. If you do, that's totally up to you. And I find a damp sponge gets that paint to move around and you get more coverage out of it. Because we're not going for perfectly covered. We want that just enough to give it a white tinge, because we're going for that textured look, because I like texture. So we're gonna give it some texture. So here we go. Just paint that on. And I didn't even use that much paint. See, just a couple of drops, because I wet my brush, and my brush allows that paint to, you know, move around. So there we go. So that's done. Yeah, you want to set that aside. Normally I would set that outside in the sun, but I'm just going to keep recording, and it's going to dry by the time I'm ready to touch it. Because what we're going to do next, if you want, this is totally optional, you can paint your frame. If you don't want to paint your frame, you don't have to. I'm just going to do a small whitewash on mine. It's going to look, I'll show you here. It's not completely painted, as you can see. You can still see the wood through, and all I did was, as you can see, there's the back of it. All I did was use a little of the light paint with some water, and I brushed it on. So easy. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more paint in my bowl here. And these are just paper bowls. I got them at the Dollar Tree while I was there. Take your brush, which is already wet. You want to swirl your paint, because you don't want to, I didn't want a thick consistency. If you want a thick consistency, that's absolutely okay. So all I'm going to do now is just brush this on. Just brush that on. And then I'm going to grab a paper towel. And I'm just going to wipe it off. Now, because this wood doesn't have a sealant on it, it's just natural wood. Like I said, I got these at IKEA. They're not expensive. They come in sets of 3, and I really like them. I just make sure you get the sides and the bottom, brush on, wipe off. And it just gives it a cute little white finish on the wood, so it's not completely coated. Just want to do all the sides, brush and wipe, and don't worry about your hands. If you want to wear gloves, you can. You don't have to, because this paint is actually washes right off. I had soap and water, basically gets it right on off. But if you're worried about your manicure or something, you can use some gloves. It's totally up to you. Make sure you do the inside of your frame, if you're going to see that. Okay, so we're all done. That's it. That's all the painting we're going to do. So we're all done with all the paint. So we're just going to move that to the side. Next step, you take your mat and you just put it in the frame. Now, because I didn't do a heavy paint coat on this frame, I can go ahead and touch it and move it, and it's fine. My hands, it won't affect it, basically. So you want to put your backing back into the frame. I'm having to push mine just a little bit because I think I cut it just slightly too big, but that's okay. There we go. Okay, so this is what you have. So what we want to do is grab your flowers. And I tend to let the flowers tell me what to do. So grab your flower, you want to lay it in and see how you like it. So I'm just going to grab my roses, and I always cut my pieces apart. Like, I cut everything. I don't know, I find it better to work as opposed to manipulating things that are already put together. If that's what you want to do, if you want to just take a flower that you've got and stick it on there, you totally can. Okay, so I changed the angle of the camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm hot gluing this on, but what I'm not doing is hot gluing it directly to the frame. If you want to put it on the frame, you can, but if you want to be able to reuse a frame that you already have, I suggest you just glue it directly onto the backing. So all I'm doing, I'm starting at this corner, you figure out where you want to start, and I just put a blob of hot glue. I always start by gluing just the bottom of the flower. Like I'll take just the bottom piece and glue that in. That way I can move things around if I need to. I can stack, I can lift. So I always start with the bottom. You'll see I try to hide things as I'm gluing, but there's a glue in there. So you just want to work your way up from the corner, as you can see. Once you do that, you take a step back. I'm gonna lift it up here and show you. So that's what we see now, okay? So now I look at it and I decide how much more I'm going to add. I'm gonna add in this piece. It's another piece with the ivy on it. And I'm just gonna lay it and figure, okay, do I want it there? Do I want it there? Where do I want it? Now I know I want this piece in the corner. That's my anchor piece. This is gonna hide everything in the corner because it's bigger. So you want a piece that's bigger, or you can put a bunch of little things in there. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna use this. Now I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there because I'm not gonna put anything else in the corner. So put my glue in. Oh, I'm getting glue everywhere. It happens in crafting. You get your glue, and I'm going to lean it away from the flower, downward, and then lift up just a little bit, just so it's not lying down flat. You want it to kind of stick up. Now if you want, whatever direction your view is in is the direction you want it to go. So if you're working, say you want to have your frame sitting this way, then you know you want things to go directional. The way I'm doing this frame, you will be able to have it in either way. I can have it sitting like this, I can have it sitting like this, I could even do it like this, and then do maybe an initial here if I wanted to, which actually is a good idea. I might just do that. I may do a tutorial on how to do a twine covered letter. Okay guys, so here's the frame. As you can see, I added in a couple extra picks and some little curly things and a couple flowers. So there's my frame. And I'm sure you're wondering how it's standing up since we didn't put the back on. Well, I did. I took some double stick tape that I got at Dollar Tree, just stick it on and stuck it to the back. So now my frame is standing. Now I don't recommend trying to hang it this way. If you do plan to hang it, I suggest using command strips or something over the top. Depending on how big of a frame you do, you can do this in any size. You can do this and hang on your front door as a wreath. You can hang this over your bed in your bedrooms, or just wherever you want to put it. It's totally up to you. Now, what I did do, I was trying to see if I could find another one of my butterflies, but I can't find the other butterfly because I had an extra one. I got them at Dollar Tree, but what I did find was this little bird that you saw in my previous video. I got it at Dollar Tree, and it has this little clip, which was kind of stuck kind of weirdly inside the bird, so I pulled it out and just kind of glued it on, so now I can actually use the clip. And I'm just going to clip this little bird into my arrangement. I'm trying to do it upside down, so I may have to turn this around. And all I'm going to do is clip the little bird in. If you want to hot glue him in, you can absolutely do that. If you want to put him on a piece of wire and then stick him in, you can do that as well. In this case, I'm just going to clip this little bird in. And he's facing the other direction, so just kind of be aware of the direction the bird is. You don't want his face facing the back side of your frame. So, okay, just kind of, and then you want to just kind of fluff things out. I like to kind of just fluff things, move things around. Oops, my flowers just popped off, which is okay. You just pop them back in, but because you want to open things up, you want things to look full. So don't be afraid to get in there and start moving things, and just getting them opened up. Okay, get the bird in. on, Mr. Bird. Okay, there he is. Okay, so, and there's my bird, and there's my frame. So, and at this point, you are done, completed. I think that was pretty quick. I hope my directions were clear. The best part about this is I love the way the back feels. It's got texture, it's got dimension, it's just not flat. So you can do this on a larger frame, this backing. Oh, I love this. I think I may do, oh, he fell off. I think I may do this on another larger frame that I have. I may have to glue him in. He's just not cooperating, but you get the point. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming to my channel, and have a great day.